happening, YouTube? Anthony Marsh on Power Rangers Lost Galaxy fan film with my review on PRLostGalaxy2014, with my review on Hasbro's Power Rangers Lightning Collection Mighty Morphin Pink Ranger with Kimberly, which was from the second wave of the Lightning Collection. And man, as I'm nearing over 100 Power Ranger reviews on the channel later, because yeah, 100 reviews almost of Power Rangers later since 2013, and who would have thought I've come this far. But I do, however, in the following next video is the Mighty Morphin Yellow Ranger with Trini. Well, I will get the Aisha version with her versus Scorpina in a 2-pack later in the year, but for now I have Trini, and of course I do have Kimberly as the Pink Ninja Ranger, which I will review sometime later in the year also. But for the time being, we're just going to see Kimberly as the original Pink Ranger for now. This figure I have been longing to get my hands on, and so is, again, Trini as Mighty Morphin Yellow. Now that I've finished the original 5 Mighty Morphin Rangers, I will take a dander on how these figures stack up compared to what I had done in so long, because for someone who's been very devoid of Mighty Morphin toys, I had to go ahead and add, these Mighty Morphin Rangers into my collection, since after all, anything MMPR is going to blow up the algorithm and blow up my channel, because if it was any other Power Ranger team, even like my favorite, it probably wouldn't get much attention and much eyeballs on my videos or anything like that, because, well, yeah, it makes sense, Mighty Morphin, because, at the time of this video's recording, it's been over 5 years since these figures of Mighty Morphin have been out. It's 2025 now. It took me 5 years to get both Kimberly and Trini. I know I keep pulling Trini up, but her video is after this. And I have been longing to get my hands on Kimberly, because she was, when these figures were hot and available at the time back in 2020, especially during the Big V, and when prices were skyrocketing during then, the Mighty Morphin Pink Ranger was so out of reach, and I'm happy I finally got her now in 2025 while the price is up for bargains and cheaps, given what's going on with Hasbro at the moment in 2025, as opposed to when they were starting very strong with this line of figures. Yeah, this is the back render. If you remember, these were the original boxes as opposed to Lightning Collection boxes that we got now, because look at the difference. When I did my Lost Galaxy Pink Ranger review earlier, later in 2024, which was just, well, not so long ago, and this was the original boxes of the Lightning Collection. So honestly, I really do miss these kind of Lightning Collection boxes. Now, nothing against these boxes, because when they did this, I was like, Hasbro, what the fuck was y'all thinking? What? No, really, like, what the fuck was y'all thinking with these, like, package-free, these plastic-free packaged boxes for not only Power Rangers, but Marvel? I don't get it. I really just don't get it. So anyway, let's just take a look at Kimberly real quick, and then we will go into the next video with Trini. So with that out of the way, Pterodactyl Pink Ranger power! Okay, now that I got Mighty Morphin Pink out of the box, before we look at her figure, let's take a good look at what accessories she had, because I already know what was in here. First, lightning effect piece. It's a fairly shooting arrow looking piece. It's unique. It's brand new to my lightning effect piece collection that I have in my little Ziploc bag of all the past lightning pieces I have for every Power Ranger that I've collected since 2020 from Hasbro. And it's even, since you got this piece, then you got one of the spare arrows for her to shoot with her power bow, which is all right for what it is, but I kind of think the lightning effect piece actually takes the cake. If you want to include that, or I wish I could have had a second piece of this to go with the power bow, if it's possible, or just one shot of this is enough. But then this little arrow piece is very similar to what I had from when I got Ranger Slayer. While I do have this singular arrow piece from Mighty Morphin Pink, but Ranger Slayer had like triple three of these, like similar to like Wolverine's claws in a sense, and I think that's what they were going with that. Interchangeable hands. Well, obviously, just like with Mighty Morphin White before her, she came with this karate chop hand, which I wasn't keen on what was they thinking with the karate chop hand. Yeah, of course, Mighty Morphin was always martial arts and gymnasts and stuff when they were cast and all. And then we have a little small bald fist, which is for like a female character, and the karate chop hand for a female character too. So you got those hands. Blade blaster for Kimberly. I mean, it's no different from like the blade blasters for Zach, Billy, and Jason. And when I I look at Trini later on in the next video. So the Blade Blaster is okay, but I've noticed there's some bits of, there's like less white on this, or it's supposed to be all silver, because I'm not sure if, you know, correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, if this part here of the Blade Blaster is supposed to be all silver, because some parts of it's supposed to be white. See, it goes to show that Hasbro wasn't by any means perfect, even when they started the Lightning collection back in 2019. The red is on point on parts of the blaster, but it's still missing some white, but that's okay for what it is. The Blade Blaster into the holster, and then you have Kimberly armed with her Blade Blaster for later. Yeah, and also I'll talk about the figure in a moment. Power bow is well done. You got to admit, it's very faithful. Now, since I have all the weapons, now I can try to put the power blaster together and put the weapons together too. So this is pretty neat, and it's very faithfully on point. Yeah, something that Bandai was missing on when they did their 6.5-inch Legacy figures. When they did. Now, I really need to talk about this, because this is something that I had been complaining about if I were to get this figure, and it's Kimberly civilian head. Even though it's kind of supposed to look like Kimberly from early Mighty Morphin Season 2 with this hair, not really Season 1, because yeah, Kimberly in Season 1 had some fashion sense with her hair back then during the first season of Power Rangers. Yeah, behold, everybody's favorite childhood crush from the 90s as an action figure from yours truly, the people behind those colorful ponies and the overlord of all Autobots. And look what they did to your childhood crush. Well, to be honest though, Kimberly's all right. I mean, she's not, you know, she may be the greatest Pink Ranger, but there are better Pink Rangers. I'm sorry to say, but like, I like Kimberly, but there is a little ear piercing on her right ear, if you can basically see it a little bit. I guess so, because I think she's supposed to have the piercing. Honestly. And I think also an earring here too, if you can see a bit of that as well, even on camera. But to be honest though, I can't tell if this is supposed to look like Amy Jo Johnson as Kimberly, or this is supposed to look like Natalie Portman as Padme Amidala from Star Wars, the prequel movies. Because I'm starting to feel like this is starting to look more like Natalie Portman than Amy Jo Johnson for some reason. Whoever up in Hasbro back in 2019 thought it was a good idea to sculpt her partly looking like Amy Jo Johnson, but looking like someone from the Star Wars prequel movies. You know, again, Natalie Portman. You know, if I had a Jane Foster Marvel Legends figure, I'm going to say this is Natalie Portman. No, it's Amy Jo Johnson, the original Pink Mighty Morphin Ranger. But yeah, and also the hair moves too, because I've noticed as I was feeling on the end parts of the hair. But honestly, I really do not like the, you know, I've been saying this for a long time, but long before I got this figure. I never, and I mean never liked this Kimberly head sculpt. Never. This is like the absolute worst looking face sculpt of Kimberly I have ever seen. Like, period. While the hair is fine, but this barely looks anything like her. Like, no. And of course, this was when Hasbro was starting to do the Lightning collection, but this is so bad, people. I mean, feel free to disagree with me all you like, but this is bad. I mean, wait until I get the remastered Mighty Morphin Pink Ranger. At least that has a better Kimberly head sculpt that looks more like Amy Jo in the role. But I really think that they really messed up, in my opinion, the face. She looks so different. She hardly even looks like her actress half of the time for this toy. And even when I start doing Super 7's MMPR figures, and when I get the Mighty Morphin Pink Ranger for that, at least those will look more like Amy Jo Johnson as Kimberly than from Hasbro's efforts. But this is just... ugh, I can't even look at this. I just can't. Now, as for Mighty Morphin Pink herself, I know that when they did their review on the Pink Ranger, her skirt was like all up to the part of this, but I think on mine they kept it just right. The only problem I have, and like for a lot of us, is she doesn't stand very well because of the crooked left knee here, and I don't think she can stand well. Just try to keep her balanced. And well, now as I finally got it in hand, because earlier on when I was looking at product images before getting it, I wasn't sure if this was a good Mighty Morphin Pink Ranger or not. But I think the helmet is kind of on point. But it's just from the product images, the demo images, the helmet did look a little odd in some places, and given how it was sculpted, and you can see the green pterodactyl eyes on the helmet. That's a little on point. In some edges, it still looks faithful to what the Pink Ranger's helmet is supposed to look like on screen. And of course, I did notice an inconsistent shade of pink on the well, I think this is unlike from what's on the camera and off camera, but some of the shades of pink is a little inconsistent. Like, you got the perfect balance of pink on the boots and on the gloves, arms somewhat, but just wait until when I get the Pink in Space Ranger and the Lightning collection. Even that Pink Ranger has some inconsistent shades of pink, but again, quality control reasons, they just wasn't paying much attention. I don't know on what on earth was Hasbro doing. Let's take some glimpses of Kimberly without her helmet on, and see how it is with that god-awful head sculpt. Okay, so here's Kimberly unhelmeted with the Pink Ranger helmet underneath her arm. And, just like as we've seen with a lot of, photos, vintage photos of the Mighty Morphin cast, with the helmets on, with the helmets under their arms, and them in the suits. So this does look like an okay portrait of what Rangers from then, like Kimberly, looked like with the helmet on, because without the helmet on, because try not to move the helmet and then have it fall under the arm. This is okay, but I still am not a fan of that head sculpt of Kimberly. It just looks real bad. And again, this was just, Hasbro's earlier efforts at doing Power Rangers. So yeah, it's understandable, just like how when Hasbro started doing Marvel Legends back in 2007. While this maybe still be the Mighty Morphin Pink review video, but here is one fifth of the original Rangers, even though recipes JDF, Tommy, the White Ranger, Green Ranger, but just have to include him in this because, man, if you was still with us, yeah, man, but here's that, but recipes, you're up in heaven with Trini. Tui, though. But, yeah, and I know, because, so here's our only remaining, as of now, still alive OG Mighty Morphin Rangers, Zach, Kimberly, Billy, and Jason remaining, as it looks like now, because since we don't have Tommy and Trini in real life anymore, but their spirits will still live on, but yeah, but this is how things look now since JDF and Tui are not with us. Still got Austin St. Jerk, still got David, still got Walter, and Amy Jo still with us. And also the replacement Ranger actors as of this video. And this is what they look like without their helmets on. And I think that's what they were doing when they were doing these Lightning figures, is trying to, like, if you get all of these, especially with their season 2 looks, you're trying, and then when I get Tommy as the Green Ranger, even though I do have the exact Tommy head sculpt when I do get the Green Ranger next time, is replicate that one iconic photograph of the original 6 together before these 2 of 3 went to that peace conference, and then their replacements took over, and also Trini, you know what I mean. So yeah, this is how things look with the group together. So, for the very first time since I started the Lightning collection in 2020 on my channel, this is the first time I actually completed a wave. Wave 2 it exact. Magna Defender, Mighty Morphin Pink, Beast Morphers Red and Gold. So, I finally accomplished the Lightning collection wave. And, to be honest though, this wave was good, but the weakest link would have to be, I hate to say, the original Pink Ranger. Even though, if you were only just about Mighty Morphin, you would only go for her and, like, screw these guys, they're going home, says Eric Cartman from South Park. But, yeah, but even though While I did like how the Mighty Morphin Pink Ranger turned out figure-wise, that Kimberly head sculpt was the weakest link, and also another weak link that made this figure, also I think one of the reasons why she was a hard-to-find figure, was some of the body joints was bent and was just like, I don't know what was going on with the knee here. Just even same go for my Beast Morphers Red back 5 years ago in 2020 also. While Beast Morphers Gold turned out okay, but I also noticed that over time, his knees started getting bent too. So what up with that, Hasbro? And then, well, Magna Defender's fine, but Mighty Morphin Pink had like the worst of this issue, and honestly, they could have done better. So, in final thoughts, Mighty Morphin Pink in the Lightning Collection was fine. Wait until I get the remastered one. I mean, this was a good first-ditch effort of doing MMPR, and while I already got them all, until I get green, this is okay for what, I mean, this was good for what it was, but it was far from perfect. It was far from great. So I wouldn't want to expect anything perfect out of everybody's favorite childhood crush of the 90s, you know, and the original Pink Ranger and the pioneer that set the foundation of the Pink Ranger legacy. Yeah, even though we can say what we want about Zordon and his too much pink energy is dangerous fallacy, but we're gonna have more pink energy is dangerous, all right, when I talk about the two Pink Ninja Rangers and more Pink Rangers to review throughout 2025, because I do want to fast speedball on trying to get as much Lightning Collection figures as much as I can, because I will make a major announcement on the channel in person one day eventually. So that's it for my Mighty Morphin Pink Ranger review. Be sure to subscribe, drop a like, and check out my Mighty Morphin Yellow Ranger review next. Thanks for watching.